I get DMs from a lot of people wanting validation on is it okay for them to have multiple sexual relationships at a given point in time or multiple romantic relationships in a given point in time. They also want to know whether they're polyamorous or not. So let me just explain what polyamory means. Polyamory is when a person is having multiple romantic relationships with more than one partner at a given point in time, and all the partners that are involved in this relationship are aware of it and are accepting of it. All partners need to have a good understanding how polyamory works, and all partners in a relationship like this are usually those who are highly self-confident, feel very secure about themselves, and are highly accepting, and it's okay for them to share their romantic relationships or sexual partners.
Different baby mothers. That's what
But
it
why
is.
do people question that? I mean, because that's a Eurocentric concept when you think about the ideas of you're supposed to have this one person for the rest of your life, and really that's just a classified property when you think about it. I mean, like when you go into that mindset, if we really talking that talk, like just the idea that a man should have one woman, we shouldn't have anything. I have no ownership over this person. Like if we're really talking about how we coexist and how we populate, it's about what exchange can we create together. So I've never really subscribed to that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I understand the institution of marriage and stuff, but if we go back to what that was about, that was the classified property. That was because a father gave another man his daughter for land. So when you really get to that concept, it's like, all right, well, we got to change all of this up because I don't want ownership over anybody. I don't have ownership of any of the mothers or...
Why aren't you jealous? You see, I think most of us would find it very hard to share somebody else. It's very painful to share someone else.
I might get jealous. I don't know, I'll try not to because I think it just caused me more sorrow and sadness than there needs to be. Because I love Tom, and what he wants is what I want. And I like his wives, and I want for them what's going to make them happy.
It's important that she does get along with us and does have a relationship with us because she's also marrying us and not just Tom.
It was very tricky to traverse that time frame because I like I said, like I love you and I wanted you to be happy and whatnot, and I saw your interactions with this woman, and I could tell that you guys were in love. It may not have been so obvious to you, I guess, but from my vantage point of view, I saw it. I'm like, this is pretty obvious. Of course, every guy is like, oh, I'm gonna have 2 girls now. That's great, but for me, it wasn't that way. It was more like I want you to really express yourself the way you want.
So the conversations that I don't think men and women, a lot of men and women aren't ready to have, is saying, listen, babes, I love you, yeah? But here what? We're in our 30s now, and if we're going to be together, we're going to be together forever until we're like 84. That's like 50 years. And in that 50 years, your vagina is the only vagina that I can see. I don't know how possible that is. I'm not saying it isn't possible. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's a tough conversation to have. Like, I can say, listen, I love you, yeah, and I want to be with you and I want to build this life. But for me to think, are you the only woman that I'm ever going to be for the next 50 years of my life? I don't know how realistic that is. But that's just not a conversation that many people are really willing to have.
Go on.
I think that's almost a cop-out because it's
Wait a minute, I don't understand how you keep saying things are a cop-out when you're the cheater.
Listen, the reason I'm saying it's
So
a
what? So
cop-out
why
is
have
because
you? Why have you been
to
cheating
sit
then?
there, you're preempting cheating. I've never preempted cheating.
Yeah, but you've
never
cheated.
preempted it.
He hasn't
Regardless.
cheated. He's
So
been more
therefore,
realistic with his life.
How can he be realistic if
Because
he's
he
not
hasn't
living in his
cheated.
truth? He's not living in his truth.
But he hasn't cheated.
But
so
he's
that-
not living in his truth if that's what he's telling
Why
me.
would
But
you say
you
that?
keep saying everything he said so far. That is a good explanation as to why men
That is
might
my truth,
cheat.
bro.
No, that's based on I'm talking about, like I said, I'm talking about my lived-in experiences. And whether you agree, I'm pretty sure there's going to be so many people that's watching this that will agree.
No, because
To an extent, definitely.
Because
100%.
it doesn't make sense that you're the person.
To you, I definitely
okay.
agree it doesn't make sense.
Why do you even understand what it takes to be in a monogamous relationship? Like, y'all don't even understand. Y'all be wanting to lock a nigga in so bad. You don't really understand what it actually takes to be in a relationship where you're asking another person to solely focus on you for their intimacy, to solely focus on you for their companionship, to solely focus on you for a partnership in finances and in life and in bill paying and in goal setting. Like, you ain't even whole enough to be a nigga everything. And when I be saying that, y'all bitches get on my videos and y'all get offended. Like I'm always taking up for the niggas. But women be the main ones pushing for monogamy. And then when a bitch get in a relationship, you don't understand, by asking this man to not fuck nobody else, by asking this man to not call nobody else, by asking this man to not look at another woman for none of his wants and needs as far as male to female, you are then saying, I'ma be whatever you need me to be.
Men are able to love more than one woman. I'm not talking about, as I said, just a random sexual relationship of fornication. I mean that there are many black men who have children by more than one woman. What is to become of those children? They need their father.
But if you would cheat on me or walk out on me...
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. We have to get into definition. Who told us that was cheating? Where did that idea come from that that's cheating? A man who has two women, that's not necessarily a mistress. That's just his other woman. Now, we got two choices. We can be the woman or the other woman. We don't have but those two. And I'm not saying that a lot of men are not just running around. I'm not talking about that. Mm-hmm. But if a woman finds out that her man has been with a woman while she's been with him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a serious commitment and relationship. And if it hasn't taken anything from me, if I'm not going short of anything, and if this is what he thinks his responsibility is, then what kind of hell are you going to go through to prevent that? Since we cannot stop him. Now, I know we don't like that. I don't like that, you know. But that's the reality of our life at some point. But every man doesn't want two women, but those that do, they're going to do it.
What about our morals and our religion?
Whose religion? Whose morals? So whose idea are you representing when you stand up for those values? Not ours. Somebody else's. And it may work for them. But it doesn't work for us. It hasn't worked for anybody, really, but nobody wants to deal with the truth. Monogamy was only created because of the economics of it.
This is rare, and many struggle in such relationships. You have a right to say no if it is not okay for you and move on. You are not polyamorous if you're having multiple sexual partners or multiple romantic relationships at a given point in time without the other partners knowing about it. You are not polyamorous when it is clearly discussed in the beginning of a relationship that polyamory or having multiple partners or cheating is not okay, but you waited for the person to be completely emotionally involved or physically involved with you in the relationship, and then you came to them and said, polyamorous or seeing other people is what I'm going to do. So all these things are actually manipulative behavior and not polyamorous. So polyamory is different from promiscuity, and I'd like to explain to people that please do not confuse the two.